Thank you. Good morning. So I know at least half of you are going to know this song. So if you could join me in singing it, I would really love that. If you don't know the verse, go ahead and sing the chorus. But I think the more voices, the better. I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out just to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand that love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would whisper so loudly and I forgot the words. Everybody sing together, sing the chorus with me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? When we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything, if we keep believing in our power. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? One more time. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Thank you.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? There we are. Who is Dee on the TV? Dee Griffin, okay. I was thinking it was Duchess Dale. It was her birthday this week. Yeah, good old friend of mine. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a lot to talk about as your Earth counselor. It's funny, I was trying to get ready and going, all right, you're going to put on this on. No, you look like this all the time. Why don't you change it? And all of it came to me that, you know what, I'm talking about the planet today. And I just hiked Canada 2 weeks ago. 7.2 miles was my longest day. And it just came to me, you know what, let me just be Earth today. Let me be that which we need to pay attention to. Okay? Yay. That's why the title was Earth Force Report for Duty. So I guess I reported for duty today. So, I have so much to talk about today. I also want to say, on my way out, you know, when I'm creating a talk, I'm always listening to Spirit say, maybe you should add this. And I thought, so I have this new book called The Life Divine. Siri Aurobindo. I don't know if I said that correctly. But anyway, it is a huge book. And I thought, how am I ever going to read this? So you know what? I'm going to go to the last page. So I went to the last page today, and I think you'll be, well, I was surprised. The very first sentence is, if there is an evolution in material nature, and if it is an evolution of being with consciousness and life, it is two key terms and powers. This fullness of being, fullness of consciousness, fullness of life, must be the goal of development towards which we are tending and which will manifest at an early or later stage of our destiny. It's what I'm talking about today. Can you believe it? I'm like, oh my God. The last page is my talk. So here's what Ernest Holmes says. Let's see if this comes up. Thank you. Life must enter living. Life. We are life. And God must flow through man. We are man and woman. If there's to be a real representation of the divine through human. In other words, where we are, what we do, how we act, what we think, has to flow through life. It must flow through life. And it flows through us. We're it. Hope you're ready. We're it. So this month is obviously, I'm talking about planet Earth. And I think the thing that I want to say is, I don't know about you, but I tend to forget about that. Even though I got an acre of land, you know, right now it's very earthy. It's very dirty. And because it's hot, you know, it's dry. And yet, for me, I have to go away to really enjoy the earth, which I have a few pictures of Canada today that, and this is not about my trip, okay? So it's not like that. Yeah, a slideshow, right. You didn't come here for that. But it's about recognizing where do we go to commune with the earth. You were at the beach this morning. Yay, I love it. I wish sometimes I lived down there. You know, but it's gorgeous down there. But anyway, the point being is, how do we do that? Or do we forget about it? Chris, you're at the beach too, don't you? Yep. Do we forget about it? How many of us forget about it? I know I do. Raise your hand, everybody. We all do. Oh, and you're at the beach too. Gosh, I may have to move down to the beach. You guys are all down there. Anyway, the point is we need to not do that anymore. We need to be consciously aware of our connection to the whole. Not just to our own busy lives. Anybody have a busy life? Oh God, mine was so busy this week. So I found this picture. I thought it was pretty profound. You know, it's an incredible representation of, are we in balance or out of balance? And here, the green is giving to the soil. It's saying, let's bring it back into balance. So what's below it says, this entire month is about giving to nature, bringing balance to a natural resource that we sometimes forget. Not just the earth and our surroundings, and this is the key here, but to ourselves in relationship to our surroundings. That means people, places, and things. So this is about all of it. It's about the wholeness of all of it, not just about the earth. David Thoreau says, heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. It's all around us. And yet the simple truth is we cannot be divided against ourselves. If we do that, if we're divided, then life dies. Life dies. And so there's so much going on in the world right now. Sometimes it feels that way, right? It feels like, you know, I have nothing to do here. I cannot do anything to make this better. But the truth is we do. And I have a little formula it's my formula that I tell everybody. Now everybody gets to hear it. So I also think that sometimes we are, and I know for myself, I'm out of balance in my life. It's real easy for me to sit in front of my computer and just work. Anybody do that? Or like Annette, work. Work hard. Because we're told we have to work hard, right? Yep. work hard, make a lot of money, and then retire, and then die. The truth is, we have to find some balance. So even today, as I always practice before I come. I have this window, and I actually have a table that will come up like this, so it looks like I'm really at church. But as I'm looking out my window and I'm reading my talk or whatever, I look out at my tree, and I have a jacaranda tree right outside my window, and it's started to bloom. Now, jacarandas bloom at different times of the year, and I haven't seen a bloom on this particular tree all year. So it was like, oh, so I got to bring that nature back into me. It's things like that we have to start to discover and not forget. It's so easy. It is so easy. Now, in my writing of this talk, I also thought, so what do other people think about? And the word was thoughts of how to achieve balance. And here's a picture of somebody gave me. Isn't that funny? That's one person's view of how we're out of balance. Really out of balance, not even. So how do we achieve balance? How do we bring it all back? But truth is, I did type in thoughts on how to achieve balance, and that's what came up. I thought that was kind of interesting. Really a different way of looking at it. So I want to say that, our governments all over the world are trying to, in fact, maybe today there'll be some really good legislation that will enhance that today in the United States. But they're all trying to figure out how do we bring balance to the environment, to the earth. And yet, it really comes down to us. You can have all the legislation you want, but if all of us ignore the real simple stuff we can do, then guess what? It isn't going to work anyway. So, my question to you is, anybody know how many people there are on the earth?
8 billion.
Shh. It's 8 billion people.
Yeah.
Actually, this is as of yesterday. Why I bring this up is because now, and this is actually, you can put this on your computer, and it's ticking. We add 220,000 people a day. That's a lot of people. Now, I'm sure they're taking into account people that are passing as well as are birthing. But that's a lot of people. It's a lot of consciousness, right? So I thought, well, okay, if there's 8 billion people on the world, I'm going to have you do a little exercise with me. And you're going to close your eyes. And what I want you to imagine is that you are part of that 8 billion. And everywhere in the space in this sanctuary, out in the street, everywhere you look. So close your eyes. Everywhere you look, so just in your mind's eye, just kind of turn your heads. There is a person. You're not being smothered. You have plenty of room around you. But there's 8 billion people that you can imagine are around you. And now I'm going to give 8 billion people, right this moment, some methods to create balance. And as I mention these, what I want you to do is to feel your body. How does it feel to have 8 billion people do these things all at one time? And so 8 billion people get up every day with a smile on their heart. And you can put a smile on your face. You're one of the 8 billion. 8 billion people take 5 minutes to give thanks to the earth and all its gifts. To the oceans, to the waters. 8 billion people bless the skies, the air, the water, and the ground. somewhere there's a sense of relaxation because we're all doing this together. 8 billion people are aware of each other's breath. And so together, let's take one breath in and let's breathe it out. We're doing that together. Eight billion people look into their animals' eyes, their spouse's eyes, their significant other's eyes, their children's eyes, with a sense of love, all together. It's that soft look that everything is okay. Just imagine. And 8 billion people are all doing one thing at the same time to make their environment cleaner and healthier. So I invite you to open your eyes. Can somebody check what that is out there? It's another 8 billion person that wanted to come in. The point is he's part of us. He's part of us. He's bringing joy to this, okay? Anyway, I could talk about another 8 billion people and 8 billion different ways that we could do this. Did anybody have any sensations of, wow, wouldn't it be nice? Yeah? Good. So I want you to think about that. 8 billion people. And I'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my trip. Some of you know what happened to me and some of you don't. But I talked to, thank you very much. But earlier I talked about being in balance. So last month, for a week, went to Banff in Jasper, Canada. It's a gorgeous place. Just, you'll see some pictures. During that trip to get there, though, I had an adventure. The adventure of not having my luggage at all for the whole week. Oh my gosh. The adventure of being bumped off of 2 flights. Oh. The adventure of traveling for 23 hours before we got to a hotel. But there was one thing that I noticed as this was all happening, because Cindy was crying at one point, sitting on the ground and going, "What am I doing?" I'm watching my luggage out there by the plane, not getting on the plane, and the plane driving away. But the thing that happened during that trip, which was still amazing to me, is that we kept trying to find an emotional balance through the whole thing. We're moving towards some kind of balance. How do we emotionally take care of ourselves? How do we emotionally do the next thing? And intuitively, both of us are going, we should go do this, or we should go do that. Did we do that? No. But we kept trying to create this emotional balance, which is an important thing, because we do it naturally, but we don't necessarily notice it. But because we kept finding this emotional balance, that the trip ended up being really cool. I hiked every day, even got to ride an e-bike the last day because I could not hike anymore. And the thing that was probably the most interesting is I found out that you don't need a lot of stuff in a foreign country. You need a toothbrush, underwear, toothpaste. We need a pair of shorts. We both brought our boots with us, so we had boots and socks, so we were okay there. And of course, Eddie Bauer was perfectly there for me. So, and I had this shirt with me, so I had to buy a couple of t-shirts, long shirts. So you can survive when these things happen. But we don't think about that. We just think, oh, the devastation. And, I kept going, I don't want to think that. I don't want to go there, because I go there, then I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to go down to the place that I don't want to be, because here I am in God's country. In God's country. And we'll be reimbursed a little bit, not much, but we'll get some money back, and we survived. We survived. See, the thing is as I'm trying to create balance, it's trying to say, okay, so part of this being bumped off the second flight, fortunately we had a friend who just by happenstance said, oh yeah, I want to come to your trip too. Happened to get there before us, and we said, texting, thank God for technology, is texting, can you get a hotel room, because we're not going to get in until midnight. So we got into the room, and it was all there. We had the hotel room. The next day, we had a gorgeous car, so next day we get to Jasper, and that's enough of my trip. Okay. The point is life is always trying to balance itself, and we were trying to balance us. So one of the first principles of life is that everything is trying to create harmony and balance. Everything, us, the environment, the situation, it's all trying to get you there. We have to be conscious enough to get there. If we don't do that, what happens is we end up destructing ourselves, and we end up destructing life. So I want to give you an image of one of the places that we went to. And there are two pictures. The one on the left is a close-up. The one on the right is a before picture. This is a glacier. It's called Columbia Fields. It's approximately 20 football fields long and approximately 10 fields wide. And if you look at the picture on the left, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some little dots. Those are people. Those are people, which to me is silly. If we're trying to save the earth, why are we putting people in the middle of a glacier? The picture on the right, the reason I show you this, because they've been measuring how the glacier has been receding for over 100 years. The picture on the right is, if you look where the road is, that's where the glacier used to be in the 1900s. When they had to do cart and buggy over to discover the lands, the horses, they had to go through that. I'll just read a little bit of this. It says the Columbia icefields remnants of the last 20,000 years of glaciation that covered most of Canada is one of the 17 glacial areas adjacent to 144 miles of Icefield Parkway. I won't get into all that. It says the glacier is retreating, however, it's winning out. The retreat is winning out worldwide at an alarming rate due to the rapid global warming over the past several decades. Currently, it's losing about 16.4 feet a year. So within our lifetime, possibly it can be gone. Now, I'm not an environmentalist, and I'm not trying to advocate that you got to go save the glacier. I just want to bring consciousness to us that we do have a way to do this. And it's not by legislation necessarily. So where you see the water on the right side right now is an empty field. And in that empty field, people have been putting up rock formations. And I found one that made me step back and say, we're out of balance. And we need to do something about it. On the left is the picture from a distance, but the whole field looks like that in the background. And people have built these statues out of rocks, which I think is pretty cool. Now I want you to look at the picture on the right, though. If you look at the bottom left foot, we'll call it a foot. It looks like a foot. That one right next to the brown rock, that one rock, if I were to pull that out, what do you think would happen? It would all collapse. That's right. That's how fragile this environment is. All we have to do is pull one rock out. Now we're just at a place where we can make those changes, but we have to consciously do it one by one. See, the thing is we are what I call interdependent upon each other. The environment, our food, our water, the earth, all of this. And I know I'm talking to the choir here, but we're going to go a little deeper. Now, I know it may not look like we have a lot of people in this center, but I serve about 100 people overall. Some of them are here. Even Cassie, who's part of our people, hasn't been here for a couple years, and I'm so happy to see you. Mwah. Love you. But I serve that many people. You may not know that, but you know, I'm working it all the time. I'm working it. Well, that sounds terrible. I'm moving it. Anyway, out of those 100 people, think about it this way. What if, and that's just what I tell a lot of people, because there are people come to me, well, how do I make this happen? And I go, do one thing a day. So if all of us, all 100 of us, did one thing a day to help the environment, doesn't matter what it is, that's over 36,500 actions in 1 year. That's just our small community. I think it's a large community, because I know what your hearts are. So that's just us. Now let's think about CSL. So I think, well, how many people does CSL serve around the world? And I figured 3 to 4 million people. 3 to 4 million people. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot. If all of us consciously together did one thing a day, it would be over 1 trillion actions to make the world a better place. Now that's impactful. In fact, the talk that I'm giving today, pretty much every CSL center is giving something similar to my talk. Not what I'm saying, but they're giving something, consciousness building. Now, what if 8 billion people did that? I didn't figure the number out. It was too big for me to even figure out what it was. But it was probably trillion is a trillion. What's after a trillion? Quadrillion. And more. You see the impact that we can have? And since everyone here, in my personal opinion, is an influencer, you are the example. And so there are things that you can do that are really simple. I'll talk about that in a minute. But when you do it consciously. Not only consciously, but it's okay to be a little show-offy about it. Because when people see what you do, guess what? They go, maybe I should think about that. Right? You know what I mean? Okay. So in addition to creating balance, there's another part of evolution of life, and that is that we're always expanding and growing and evolving. Ernest Holmes says, the progress of the human... Oh, here's a slide. I should give it to you. The progress of human race is a result of that process whereby intelligence passes by successive degree of incarnation through evolution into the human mind. Which really means that our life is always evolving. We are always evolving and expanding. Okay? In fact, Cassie gave me a wonderful compliment today, and I said, well, you know, I'm going to team training, so that's the reason why I look younger. Because I'm trying to, you know, as a sage, I'll call myself a sage now, right? We have to take care of our body. That's part of the evolution. I want to live to be 100 so I can be around you guys.
I want you to live too.
Me too, yay. But the idea of evolution is that we're all changing constantly, and we're gradually changing over time. The part is that we have to know how to react and respond to the changes of that evolution. Just like I said, my body, I'm going to training. I'm doing that because when I don't take care of me, everything hurts. Everything hurts. And I've decided, you know what? it's better to just be in pain for a couple hours a week and work out. I mean, in fact, last week? We had to do this exercise where you go like this and you go like that with weights. Well, I've hurt my shoulder, so it's hard to do that. So thank God the instructor came over to me. She just said, Suzette, because we were also doing a lot of other things. She said, just go like this. Just retrain that muscle so it goes back into the right place. Now, I'll go back to 5 pounds when I can get that muscle to remember to go back into that place. That's evolution in the simplest form. But we forget. Sometimes we got to go back in order to go forward. So I'm going to continue with my story. I have a favorite place in Canada, and you're going to get to see the picture of it. And the reason why it's my favorite place is because when I'm there, I feel like it's not real. It's like I'm in a hologram. It's made up. It's too beautiful to be real. And I'm really mystified when I'm there. But I'll show you the picture. That's Lake Moraine. It's so incredibly beautiful that just imagine being surrounded by that, you know. But what I realized as I was writing this talk, I'm like, why do I feel that way? And why I feel that way is that I'm getting a sense that I'm a part of the evolution of this beauty. I'm a part of it. I'm not separate in any way at all. Has anybody been there? No? I should have gotten a picture like this because it's just all around. If it weren't for the rocks that I had to stand on, and when you get there, it's not a really hard hike to get there. It's less than a half a mile. But of course, there's nothing in Canada that's not up. And you start at about 5,000 feet. So you have to, it's hard, getting up there is just kind of a little bit of a trek. But what I want to point out here is the evolution and the balance that's being created by the entire environment and the people that visit there, because that's as far as you can go. You cannot get into that lake. At least as far as I could tell, you couldn't get into the lake. So it's pristine. But I looked at this and I said, that is life giving to life. It's giving itself to allow us to see the beauty in it. So the clouds bring the rain, and the rain brings the snow. And then when the sun peeks out, it melts the snow so that the elements go into the water. That's what makes it that color. There are elements that go into the water, which brings the color to the water and makes the trees so brilliant. See how that works? It's all connected. And it's important for us to realize that's our connection. All right. My last point is about we are not just a microcosm, that's the little part, right? But we are also the macrocosm. We're all of it. And that we have the ability to influence. David Bowen, he's a quantum physics, says, what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. In some sense, man is a microcosm, and I said macrocosm too, of the universe. Therefore, what man is a clue to the universe. Now, many of you have seen the movie Power of 10, right? That's where they go into the cells and they show you all, electrons and all that stuff, and then they bring it all the way out to the universe. Well, I was trying to think, how could I get you to relate to this? And it seems like that which is out into the universe isn't relatable. I'm going to give you a new perspective. That was our beginning. 13 billion years ago, creation, and it's still expanding, expanded. And so today, I've asked Martin to bring up, this is the surprise I wouldn't tell you two about, to bring up the images of the Webb telescope. And you can put this on your computer. In fact, yesterday as I was looking at this, I watched it. And it's a repetitive pictures, but don't put it, okay, leave it there. Don't turn the music on yet. But there's music behind here. And I listened to that for about an hour. It's just like, oh. But here's what I want you to get. You're going to see images that are 13 billion years old. I know. But that's when we began. That's when we started. Whether it was a big bang or however it all happened isn't important. What's important is that's out there. And through time and evolution, we got to this place, and now we're here. We are here in this moment to do something about it. And I'm not going to advocate what we do, but you can do your part, your one part. Your one part. I went to college last week, had to walk this entire campus. Don't turn that on. Because I want you to experience this a different way. Martin, can you flip it back? There, thank you. College last week. And you know what I did when I walked to college? I picked paper up. That's simple. You guys that live at the beach, I'm sure you're doing that all the time. Picking trash up. What's that one young man, I don't know his name, who's trying to get the plastic out of the ocean, and he's created this contraption to do that? So I want you to just think about your own environment, where you live, the places you live, the freeway that you're around, the trees that you're involved in. What can you do? Just think about that. All right, so we're going to move into this, and I'm going to ask Martin, for all of you that are online, you'll be able to see this also, is I'm going to ask him to play the music, because it's really profound. And so just be mesmerized by the images that you see. Listen to the music and allow it to remind you of how old we are. And I'll read a little bit of history, and then I'll shut up for about a minute or two so you can just have the experience. And can we turn the lights all down, please? All right, so go ahead and put it back on. And you'll notice it's real time right now. So turn the music up just a tiny bit. And I'm going to read something, and then we'll turn the music way up. These are the first images from NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, offering humanity a stunning new view of the universe. A first-of-a-kind infrared image so distant in the cosmos that it shows stars and galaxies as they appear 13 billion years ago against the blackness of space. Webb's first deep field shows a kaleidoscope of galaxies, some appearing as luminous points, while others look bent and streaky, warped by gravity on their long journey to Earth. The Webb telescope infrared eyes had pulled these normally faint and distant objects into sharp focus, providing a view of some of the never-before-seen galaxies and star clusters, NASA officials said. The oldest light from some of these objects date back roughly 13 billion years ago, in the early days of the universe. So turn it up. So let's just enjoy this for a couple minutes. Think about it. We are part of that creation. We are truly part of this. And we are not separated. Now we call it God, we call it, an infinite intelligence, we call it source, we call it why, we call it many names. And I think this is why we look to the skies. Because it was our beginning. And it has just continued to evolve, just like we have. So we can go ahead and turn that down and change it. I want you to get that. So if you're not feeling that, go to your website and turn this on, because it's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Ernest Holmes says this. He says, the ultimate cause, that's what we just looked at, the ultimate cause, back of all things must be one. It has many forms, just like we're individual expressions here. Life cannot be divided against itself. When I looked at that, I looked at birth, constant birth, constant birth. The infinite must be one, for there could not be two infinite beings. Whatever changes take place must take place within the one. And then I thought, you know what? It needs to go farther than that. And the farther I said, our work is to realize our connection with the whole and to act upon what is possible. We can't solve all the problems or the issues, but we can do what's possible. Yes? Some heads? Okay? All right. That's the only thing I want out of you tonight. Yes. Okay. So how do we get involved? How do we do this? I'm going to conclude with some things for you to think about. So during the week, I want you to notice the air inside your place and outside your place, your home, where you work. Just notice the air and take a deep breath in. It was so, when you go into hiking, that's about the only time I get to really smell the trees. I love smelling the trees, but it's just faint right now. I want to, after good rain, it's really there, but not during the dry season. But I want you to be curious about the air. Where I live, I'm always breathing the air, because I'm breathing, well, I won't say all the elements I'm breathing, but there are horses out there. There are horses, and there are dogs, and there are cats, and there are trees, and there are all kinds of things. But I'm breathing that. I'm trying to feel my environment. And if you're, and someone told me this, I won't mention who it was, but this is a long time ago. If you're in an environment where there are no trees or no plants, see if you can just grow a little something. Someone was telling me a while ago, a long time ago, they said, yeah, I moved into this place and there was nothing around me, so I built a little stepway out to my place, and then I put a little garden in there. It's that simple. Make your environment work for you. And then, as I mentioned, pick up the trash. I love to go to schools, because I'll go to school and somebody will drop their stuff, right? This is trash. So I look around, and I go like this, and I go, and put it in the trash can. On purpose. Because I want people to think about that when they walk down the way. And because we are the example, okay? What we have to do is we have to heal the earth. We have to heal what we have, and we have to do what our part is. So I'm going to, we have an affirmation, and the affirmation has 10 words in it. But instead of you saying it, I'm going to read it to you 10 times with an emphasis on each individual word. And I want you just to feel it. And maybe I'm overdoing this today, but I just know that we have to hear this over and over and over till we remember it, and it embodies it, okay? So I invite you to close your eyes one more time, and then I will pray us out and have more music. I'll read the affirmation first. I'm one with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with life, all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. I'm one with all of life on planet Earth. I am with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. I am one with all of life on planet Earth. And so as we end this talk today, I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond any argument I might have in my mind, is that spirit is everywhere. God, the essence, the intelligence, whatever name you want to call it, is everywhere. Everywhere, ever present, at every moment, in every breath, in every situation, in all of its different forms. And that each one of us are fully, completely connected at any moment that we realize. There is never, ever a moment of separation. There's never, ever a moment of them and me, or me and them, or them and that out there. And it is all one. It is all perfectly one, and we are fully connected. And so I know and accept today that we have bridged the gap of our birth of the universe to who we are today. And so today I know that each person walks out of here doing their part, whatever part that is. It may be small, it may be large, it may be governmental, it may be just sweeping the sidewalk. Every action makes a difference. And so I know we become the active consciousness of the one in and amongst the 8 billion. And that our actions trickle out into the universe to effect more. And I know that the words that I spoke today, those are words that we use as tools to create a better world. We use those words to feel our environment, to feel the goodness that is around us, and we work towards making every single thing we do just better. And so with that, I give great thanks for this day, for this talk, for the experience of hearing and feeling the universe, knowing that we are an integral part of that. And that is really good. So I give thanks. I release these words into the infinite mind and into the infinite, knowing that it is moving in as and through each and every one of us. And so it is. Amen. Amen. And that's it. Yay. Let's bring back the music. Thank you. All right.
How big is your container? How much good can you receive? You can have anything you want as long as you accept it and you believe. How big is your container? Do you have room to grow? Are you living the life you want? Does your cup overflow? A container the size of a thimble or as big as the globe. How big is your container? How much joy can you accept? Are you living a life of thanksgiving or a life of regret? How big is your container? How much love can you allow? Are you living in the past or the future? Can you be present now? Is your container the size of a thimble or as wide as a cloud? How big is your container? How much good can you accept? Are you living that life of forgiving or a life of regret? How big is your container? Do you have room to grow? Are you living a life you want? Does your cup overflow? Is your container the size of a thimble or as big as the globe? How big is your container? How much good can you receive? Are you living the life you want? Think about it. Is your container the size of a thimble or as deep as the sea? Thank you.
Yeah. I like that one.
Good.